Welcome to Wise Woman Healing, the channel about traditional Christian folk healing. All right, today we are talking about what to try for this week. Today is Sunday, the 27th of July. It is the last week of July, and therefore we are combining the last few days of July with the first few days of August, and we are in the waxing moon cycle, which means the moon is growing and getting bigger. And therefore we are doing healing for surface above the skin. And let's see. Today, Sunday, and tomorrow, Monday, you can work on the belly. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, the kidneys. And then Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, the genitals. And, since hopefully we're grown-ups here, if there's been some cooling off in your marriage in that special way, in the bedroom, you can use Thursday, Friday, and Saturday as a re-warming period for you and your spouse, and to reintroduce some romance, because romance and that intimacy in the marriage is also a part of healing. And without it, I know a lot of marriages can suffer. So maybe you don't need actual physical healing in that area, other than just remembering that it's fun and it's an important part of marriage. Okay. I want to know from you what you want to hear me talk about in regards to folk healing, because this is just as much your channel as it is my channel. So to that end, I want to talk to you about a famous powwower, and by famous I mean within the powwowing community. But he's one of those people where you just would never have heard about him if you weren't really from the area he's from, or if you had never had yourself or a family member that needed his services. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I do think that it's important that we understand the ancestors of Braucherei or powwow healing. Even if they're not our ancestors, they're still the ancestors of this practice. And so this person, his name is Edward Swope, Swope. And I'm doing a video on him. It's only going to be somewhere between 3 and 5 minutes long. So I wanted to talk about this one aspect of his life where he, as a child, died and came back to life. So it's something where, I should do some kind of an introduction, but it'll be in the other video, because I don't want to just completely read everything verbatim from this book, which is Powwowing in Pennsylvania, Braucherei and the Ritual of Everyday Life by Patrick Donmoyer. It is an excellent book. Look at all the tabbies I have on it. The front covers, I have charms and healing prayers and stuff like that. I highly recommend that you purchase it. This is Edward Swope as a young man. And then this is Edward Swope when he's a little bit older, or a lot a bit older, with his wife. His wife did not like him doing Braucherei in the house, so he respectfully either did it in the client's house or when she was gone. And of course, if you've been healing for any length of time, you know that you are usually the last resort for people. You are the last one that they come to. They'll go to the doctor, 15 million times. And then when they're on death's door, they finally come to you. It's a double-edged sword. So anyway, let's read about Edward Swope. And I'll put a picture of him up on here so you don't look at the top of my head while I read. A great-granddaughter of Edward Swope recalled living with her family in the upstairs apartment on the second story of her great-grandfather's home. where, as a favored youngster, she was allowed to quietly witness Ed perform healing rituals for clients suffering from terminal illnesses. While she was young, her great-grandfather told her the story of how he learned to powwow from a woman who had raised him from the dead. At the age of 3 in 1885, Edward was seriously injured while playing with his older brother Clayton on a swing in the backyard when he accidentally fell upon a rusted nail protruding from a board lying on the ground. Rapidly, the toddler began showing signs of a tetanus infection and was diagnosed with lockjaw. Although Edward was pronounced dead, just a few days later, he would never make it to the grave until 83 years later. And here's what happened. On the day that his funeral preparations were to take place, as was the custom in those days, Edward's body had been laid out for a home viewing prior to embalming, and the family gathered to pay their respects. An old woman, unfamiliar to the family, came to the home and asked, "Do you have a child that has recently died?" When the family replied to the affirmative, she asked if she would be allowed to pray over the deceased child. The family consented, and the woman went into the room alone where the body was laid. After some time, she emerged and told Edward's mother, "Your son needs you." His mother went into the room and, to her surprise, found him sitting up and alive. Oh, I would love to have asked him some questions. Although many scientific explanations could be conferred upon the incident, stories of Ed's miraculous resurrection received popular attention, and it was even covered in regional newspapers nearly a century later when Ed's great-great-grandson was baptized in a nearby church in the fall of 1978. Elderly members of the congregation still recalled Edward Swope as the man who was raised from the dead. The woman responsible for bringing Edward back to the land of the living was a local powwow doctor whose name has been long forgotten, but the very same woman later became a mentor to Ed and taught him the healing arts. He grew to be a compassionate man who never charged for his services to the sick, believing devoutly that whatever cures he could facilitate were a gift from God. His specialization was with the terminally ill, especially those who had reached the limits of conventional treatment and were awaiting the inevitable. It is unknown whether or not Edward's experience with death and resurrection motivated him to care for people who were nearing the end of their lives, but his reputation surely played a role in his expression of the tradition. So there is usually everything is liquid, but usually Brauerei has a specialty. Like some of them are good at getting rid of warts, some of them are good at healing burns or cuts, stopping bleeding, whatever. Well, Edward was good at a particular cure that could only be done and effective with the hand of a corpse. And so since he had been dead as a child and risen, he was able to do this one particular healing that you needed the hand of a dead man to do. Isn't that interesting? So one thing that I want to talk about, again, is what you want to hear. So please do comment. Please like this video, subscribe, and comment on what you would like to learn. And as long as you're not asking me to put curses on people, I'll see what I can do. And so you want to stay in the lane of healing, maybe even blessing, curse or hex removal. But yeah, healing. So if you, like for example, in this book, which again, I highly recommend you buy, there is a section on rituals of old age. Okay, so and here's a coffin. I mean, this book does not play. There's pictures of weird things, and you're just like, what the heck is going on? Hold on. Sorry. And there's topics about youth courting and marriage. Do you see stuff like that? So back in the day, there was a lot of things that were done to protect oneself against witchcraft. And I don't think that something like that is out of place here in modern America, because we are finding out that there's a lot of satanic rituals and witchcraft going on in the government, especially to the left, to the left leaning individuals are especially into that sort of thing. And again, I just want to reiterate, I am not a witch. I am a folk healer, and my gift and my ability to do anything is up to the Lord. And I only pray to the Trinity. Now, if I use a saint in healing, I am asking them to pray for me. I'm asking them to intercede for me. I am not looking at them the way that I would look at Jesus as the ultimate healer. But I certainly would say, please intercede for me. This morning, Sunday the 27th, is the Sunday of St. Pantaleimos, the unmercenary healer, which means he was a Christian healer that performed miracles of healing and did not charge people money for it. Okay, let me know if you want more information on healing saints. So the pictures that I showed to you, the skull, remember the skull, oops. Okay, so that is objects deliberately concealed in walls or foundations are part of centuries-old traditions used to protect and bless the establishment of a new building at the time of its construction. So they are man-made objects as well as animals. They were found when the buildings are torn down. So you have brooms, you have animals, animal parts, which, is really sad, but, I'm hoping that these are animals that were eaten and not just killed for the purpose of a house blessing and protection. But you never know. Things were a little bit different back then. So let me know if you want me to talk about witch bottles and protection like that. I have pulled some of mine in from the house, and I've noticed that I'm getting more solicitors. I have a big sign on near my door that says no soliciting, but they come and they leave their cards and things, and they're not supposed to. Because of all the rain that we've had, it has moved my witch bottles around. And plus the squirrels come along. Squirrels are nosy and they like to play with things. And so they mess with stuff and they end up on the ground and broken or driven over and that sort of thing. So anyway, that's what we're supposed to try for. I hope maybe you and your spouse will have some fun this weekend and see what happens. And yeah, that's it. I hope you're having a good summer. It has been really hot here, which is part of the reason why I haven't done too many videos. But we're going to start ramping up now that it's kind of cooling down. I say that as it's supposed to be hot today. It's already 93 degrees and it's 12:23. And it's on its way to 96, but it doesn't feel bad because it's a little bit overcast. All right. Let me know what you're up to. Let me know how you're doing. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, now and ever unto the ages of ages. May the Lord bless you and keep you and make his light to shine upon you. Bye. Thanks for stopping by. Please like and subscribe and help the channel to grow.